All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to Hoops Hobby Hangout. We're here for the 21st time, and I don't know, this may be a risky little thing we got going here, but we are going to talk selling cards again. So um, it kind of seemed like it worked out well. We had a lot of engagement in the chat last time, and I think that there was a lot more we could say, and we just touched on the general stuff. So I think we're going to try to wrap up some of that general stuff, talk a little bit more logistics too, and see how that goes. The other thing that we're doing is, for the first time, we're trying to see what it's like to both be on YouTube and on Instagram. So right now we are also on Instagram. I guess I should probably put my Instagram on this, but that would be at Sack Kings Cards. I put it I'll put it next to my name, but that way, if you prefer Instagram and you want to hang out with us via Instagram, that you could do that too. Whatever you find is easier. Ultimately, like what we want is just to be able to hang out and talk cards and all that stuff. So I put the link for the stream if you want to jump on video into the chat, so you can do that too. If you can also scan that QR code at any time if you want to. And yeah, I think that's all the logistics. Right now, we're just going through my Instagram account because we don't have 1,000 followers yet on the like Hoops Hobby Hangout account, and you have to have 1,000 followers on Instagram to go live on through that account. So I did a whole bunch of things that are unnatural for me and learned how to make my account a professional account. So I think as of yesterday, I'm a professional card collector. So
it is working. I just checked it.
Yeah. So I can now stream
live on Instagram.
Yeah, live on Instagram. So either way, hopefully we can just hang out for a while, as we always do, and talk cards. And like we said, before we get into all of that selling stuff, anyone got anything to share, updates, anything going on?
I'll jump in real quick. I haven't really been all that active in the hobby over the last week or so, but I do have one card to show off, and it's pretty timely based on what Adam and I were talking about. I don't know if I had this in time last week, but Adam and I, as we're recording right now, our favorite team, the Celtics, are being embarrassed by the Miami Heat because Joe Mazzulla is trash. And because I have this really bad, I don't know if you guys do fantasy at all, but I have this really bad habit of, like, if I have players on my fantasy team, I'll peruse for cards for them just to see what's out there. And I sent what I thought was a low ball offer in on a Bam Adebayo card. And to my surprise, the seller accepted my $20 offer. So this is a silhouette silver hollow foil game used NBA Relics patch. And again, give silhouette credit. It's a white jersey, and the picture, sort of the silhouette picture right above the patch window is Bam wearing a white jersey, and then kind of an action shot on the red jersey. So yeah, I don't know if I'll hold on to this card forever, but I am, I'm at the top of the standings in my fantasy league. So if I win this year, maybe I'll keep this as a little trophy to myself. But I don't usually send offers, but I think just silhouette's been on my mind so much recently that I saw it, and it was the hollow silver, and I was like, he had it listed for like $55 or something. I threw 20 out there just saying, hey, if he accepts, he accepts. And I woke up the next day and said, your shipment's on its way. So it's about all I've been doing in the hobby, is making some impulsive buys recently. How about you guys? What have you been up to?
I had one card come in. I bought it a while ago. It was from China, and they shipped it snail mail. But I think I bought it like the first week of Topps coming out. If I try to get centered here so it can be seen on both.
Nice.
Feeds, but
it's an Iceman?
Iceman, yeah, on card gold to 50, I think it is.
Nice.
It's there's like so much going on in it, you can't even see the autograph, but it's there. It's big and blue, and it looks pretty good in person.
Yeah, really nice.
But yeah, I ordered that, I don't know, probably almost a month ago now, a few weeks ago. Came in today. Pretty sharp card. I actually like that quite a bit. It's weird though. I noticed the base version is sticker, and a couple of the other variations are sticker, but I think the blacks and the gold are on card. So it's kind of a weird thing, because I bought this one, like, that has to be on card because the signature is so big, and it almost goes to the edges of like the area. I'm like, I should be safe, and it is on card. But then there's some that are very obvious, like you can see the reflection of the sticker in the listings.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I was going to say it kind of looked almost like it was a sticker. That's why I was like looking real close when you first showed it on the screen. But because kind of that cut up that they had is typical for like stickers. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell on listings whether they're stickers or on card. It's been like a little bit of a. I mean, I've seen some and I think they look nice, but yeah, it's hard to tell. Is there a is that the gold or are there multiple golds? Because that looks like it could be a gold checkerboard or mosaic or X Fractor auto.
There is that in different sets. I think this particular version just has that effect on it, like this autograph set. And it's funny too. The more I look at it, it's almost like it almost could be a sticker, but some kind of newfound stickers that take up the entire area. Like it's way bigger than, I don't know. There's no visible start and stop of it, but it does look sticker-esque. It's kind of weird. I'd have to get a good picture of it and post it when we post the video. But looking at it closer, like it's definitely a way bigger window. I don't know if I have a sticker nearby for the sake of size comparison, but the window is probably 50% larger. I think it's on card. I mean, I could be wrong. If it's not an on card autograph, the way they did it is really nice, and I'd have no issues buying sticker autos that look like that.
Yeah,
I was going to say they must have done a really good job. Like it's a great sticker auto if you're looking at it that closely in hand and you still can't tell.
Yeah, if it's a sticker, I put my finger on it, and I didn't really want to do that, but like just rub my finger over top. I cannot feel a difference, but it's kind of got like the certified autograph issue kind of wording underneath it, like you'd see on the stickers.
That's not uncommon for them to do just on their on-card autos too, is to put somewhere the stamping of the certified autograph. And I mean, talk about an upgrade. There were several sets where they were still used back in the early 2000s, where they were still using Shaquille O'Neal silver stickers, and then they were putting them on triple autos, and the other two players had clear stickers, and there's silver foil stickers. And so if you can't tell it's a sticker, I'm going to say it's not a sticker. I agree, just based on size, Adam. And but if they've developed a sticker that you can't tell and isn't standing out like a sore thumb, I'm all for it. I think there's a time and a place for sticker autos, so go for it. How I forget what it's called, Adam. How's the are you still work on the set of that 57 throwback design?
And I just got one the other day. I got Durant in. I think they're behind me. What was I gonna say? I'll pull those out while I'm thinking about what I was gonna say. UD Black, they did a triple auto set that I posted online for sure, like the Celtics triple with Pierce, Bird, and Russell. They had one of those of Moses Malone, Kobe, and Garnett. And I remember on Blowout back in the day, I came so close to buying the 1-of-1 platinum, but Moses signed it with a sticker and it completely ruined it. But it's such a cool card, and I would have bought it for pennies by comparison. But see how.
Did they pre-publish the checklist for this throwback set, Adam, or is it do you not know how big the set's going to be when you're done completing it, or like what have they sent out as far as information on it?
So basically, they haven't said anything out specific. It's just mimicking the baseball set, and I could be misremembering the number, but I want to say the baseball set's up to 660 subjects.
Oh, this is the Topps Living set.
Topps Living.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it, Joey. Thanks.
Is it?
Here's I've bought more than this, but they're just really slow at shipping them. But that's the update of them.
I've seen on Instagram the Topps advertising like Cooper Flag ones. Did they release Cooper Flag in this set yet?
They did. They did this past week. I bought 5 of those just to, I don't know. I'm sure it's gonna be the stupidest print run of all of them, but I bought them just because I thought they were kind of cool. And you do get a chance at super fractors and refractor versions that I'm never going to get because they're going to print 4 million of them. But you also get the cost down by buying 5. So I figured, why not? I did that with Russell as well, just for I wanted a couple of them, and also for the sake of maybe getting a better chance at a version better than base, and I didn't. But like I said, they become cheaper the more you buy.
Yeah, actually, on that note, because it's the same with Topps Now, there was a guy on Reddit posted he bought 1 base card of a Cooper Flag card on Topps Now and ended up with one of the maybe the game worn shoe relic or maybe relic autos. So you have a chance. You never know. Yeah. You got lucky.
Yeah, if they have a chance. And most of the cards haven't been overly crazy printed. I mean, compared to base cards standards, I mean, a random Topps base card's got 1 million copies at this point. I think most of the people in the set have been in like the 4,000 to 6,000 range. LeBron at number 1 was like 40 something thousand, but everybody else was pretty low. I think Jaylen Brown was one of the lowest ones. Got to throw that out there. Like 4,300 to 4,600 copies.
Wow, that's still a ton.
It's a ton, but then you look at like how many base cards are printed from a Topps set. In the baseball set, they have a few guys that were kind of thrown in the early years that aren't big names, that are pretty short printed, that make the full set kind of difficult. And over time that might happen with this. I just thought it was kind of cool just because of the 57 original set I put together. I figured this would be kind of a cool combination and get some new names, a mixture of guys like Russell's in that one. And it's not that expensive. It's $9 a week. So, I mean, that's if you just buy one. I think there's $6.50 when you buy 5. It's not a horribly expensive thing to consistently have a new card coming in every week and kind of not finishing, but moving towards completion of whatever the current set is of that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. By comparison, back in the dark days of the hobby, when Topps Now first started in 2016, like even their World Series releases on the day after the World Series games or whatever, those base cards are printed to like 300 or something. They're so rare because it just wasn't a thing as much back then. And obviously now people are buying a lot, try to get those parallels or autos or whatever. So yeah, just it's weird. It's crazy by comparison.
Well, I think I could be wrong on this. When they number those like super World Series ones to 300, I want to say that was like a preset number that you couldn't buy more than that. Whereas this is like print by demand. So I would assume they would have sold more than 300 of them had they opened the floodgates to as many as could be sold. But I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, I wasn't the most familiar with it back then, so I couldn't say confidently. Ryan, you got anything this week?
Yeah, I was going to say before we move on, you guys got to do a sanity check on me because I bought some RJ Hampton cards, graded, mind you, which are getting cracked pretty soon. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's that's what you can find nowadays from those 2020, 2021 years, is graded stuff. So it's a team set, Chase, of course.
That just goes to show how serious you're taking not buying Topps cards. You've gone to the lows of buying RJ Hampton shiny slabs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Do a sanity check on me, but it completes like sets, which I'm going to go back and try to do because probably from like 2019 until the last Panini release, Optic, even Prism. I really didn't go after a whole ton just because of prices. So this one, which is like the out of 8 or whatever, I think it's I don't even know what you call this parallel.
It's the black gold choice. Black choice. It's the international version.
Yeah. So, I'm going to guess that's probably $100 plus card in 2021, right? So
for sure.
I probably paid $17 for it, I think. Shipped.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so cool binder ads, and you know me, I'm a kind of a completionist, so I will try to just put those sets together until I eventually finish them or just die trying, I guess.
Yeah, I know you did the gold refractors for a lot of the Nuggets years, up through the Mellow years and everything, and then you were doing Prism, but you've sort of pivoted away from Prism because of cost, and you've been going more of the Optic gold stuff, right?
Yeah, so probably 2018 forward. When was Porter Jr. drafted? I think 2018, right?
18-19, yeah.
18-19, yep. So that's when they kind of got expensive. So I started going more towards Optic, although I did pick up Prism here and there. Now I'll go back to that because years go by, 2-3 years go by. The hot rookie at the time is not so much hot, but not Porter Jr., as we talked about last time. His stuff has spiked a little bit since he went to Brooklyn, but I will go back and do it. So that's probably going to be the next couple of years, is trying to finish some of those sets. But I am very close on some of the Optic stuff. So
when the trend was for like that week of going back through eBay purchases, remember that was a thing like right around New Year's, people going back. I don't, as Adam says, you don't need much to tell that I have ADHD. So like I didn't have the patience to sit there on my phone, like scroll through like so many listings, but I did find one of the ones you'll laugh about, Ryan, was I remember being super excited about it. I won it on ComC auction for probably almost $100, and it was I think it was like $80. It was the Porter MPJ Optic Hollow, just the base hollow rookie. And it was the final one because I busted a case of that stuff. I busted an entire case of that stuff for $1,000, and Porter Jr. was the very last card I needed for the full hollow set, and I remember being super stoked about winning it for, at that point, below comps, and I still paid I won it through eBay, but on a ComC auction, I still ended up paying like $85 or something for it. And now I looked it up, it's $3 card.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. I did get for Porter Jr., I think I bought his like select rookie on card auto, which is like kind of before I'd say that's like the 2019 boom, the pre-COVID boom almost. So I do have that one. And then I bought a Prism Mojo. So the only one I'm missing was the gold, and probably should have bought it 2019 because 2020 hit and it just ain't, So we'll see, whatever. I get as close as I can, and if I don't complete them, it's no big deal. Jokic is obviously going to be a little difficult to complete for Prism Golds, but you never know. Maybe trade into them or something like that. I find like the higher price ones, like sometimes we'll try to trade into them. So see how it goes.
Sure.
Are you giving any consideration to maybe holding on to those Hamptons graded until you find one and then reselling it if you ever find one? Or
no, not worth it.
Yeah.
This one was literally $17. The other one, I think I paid a little more because it's the true gold, and people, might be going after a set or something. I think the total of that one came out to like 50, which is probably a little more than I'd want to pay at RJ Hampton, but the set chase, man, the team set chase kind of takes over.
I mean, at least like because I had the same thing happen with my Mosaic, my 2019-2020 Rashawn Holmes Rainbow and Mosaic. I found like the gold and the pink out of 10 in PSA 10. So I just kept them. And then this was Frisbee Steve's recommendation. I just kept them, eventually found them raw, and then sent the PSA 10s over to ComC. So I don't know. It might not be worth the headache. Maybe because I'm still a few cards away from completing the rainbow, it was worth it for me because it's not like it's not like there's a gap by keeping them graded. But
I just haven't seen those show up. So that's the problem, is like, this is the first time I've seen them show up in several years. Well, the gold. The other one was kind of just a throw in. I'm like, I'll throw in $20 just to see. But the gold is what I really wanted, because that'll go after my set that I'm putting together. And honestly, like, people that bought that for probably a high price, they're not probably very motivated to sell it for a third of what they paid. So you're probably not going to see them show up. So I do that for cards that are maybe a little bit more desirable. I will keep the graded copy and just see if maybe someone else has a lower grade or it shows up again. I can grab that one, sell the other one. I have done that, which is good because, we're eventually going to get talking about selling again. That is definitely a good strategy, but this one I'll probably just crack it. Probably not worth holding on to.
Plus, cracking slabs is fun.
Yeah, it is. I know. And shout out to your video, Steve.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't seen it, Steve has a nice cracking video. Man, you got through them quick too. That was like 6 minutes, and you cracked 5 slabs, I think.
Well, so yeah, 4 of them were BGS slabs, which you guys know I like to. For people that haven't seen it, I'll try to talk visually. Like, if you do a snip at the top of the slab, it just cracks right. It creates like a seismic wave right down the middle and cracks the slab. I actually got one of them in just one snip alone. So yeah, once I see a BGS slab, and I can get into that thing in like 10 seconds. And the other one was an SGC slab, which I can pop those open with like my fingernail, or I think you guys even saw me just try and like pop the seam with a butter knife before I cut it. I mean, SGC slabs are. I actually think they're good slabs because now they have sealed them better. I mean, I had to cut it into it before I could open it, but they open very cleanly. I've never had an SGC slab shatter or crack. And I mean, a lot of people do resubmit or regrade or rehold, or they get scratched. Like, to actually have a slab that like could be open in a trustworthy way and be safe, I think is good. But yeah, I got through. I even had to pause for a little bit because I got interrupted by my wife as she was coming down and started yelling at me, thinking I was talking to myself. So I had to pause the video for a moment. But yeah, it didn't take long for me to get into those.
Yeah. So those of you who have not checked it out, it's on our channel, and it's I still haven't perfected the crack down the middle. I think I did one way back when, in the pre-COVID days, and I'm pretty sure I like cracked it in the same spot twice and then bent the card. It wasn't like a high value card, but I kind of steer clear from it. But I think the way you were doing it, where you're just doing one crack on the top, it directly in the center. If it doesn't crack all the way, go to the bottom, do another one there. Have you had ones where you still can't pull it apart and you've had to go on
No.
the side, or do they all
Never.
pretty much
Yeah.
crack down?
Yeah, as long as so in the video, what Ryan's talking about is I hit right in the top, and it doesn't always go all the way through the slab. I mean, BGS has the sturdiest of slabs. I mean, they're little bricks. And then I describe how I go down the bottom. Like I said, Ryan, I never chase the cracks. I never go off to the side that the crack travels to. I always just go straight in the middle, like 50-50. And I've never had to do more than that. Like I've never had him get stuck in the middle. I've never had a corner come flying off. It's always just the two cuts and go right through. And then you saw in the LeBron, I was able, like that one just traveled all the way through and literally just hinged it at the bottom. So
yeah.
That
was my mistake is trying to follow the crack that I already did and bending, because then you got two pieces that are kind of, not pieced together. And then, I was disappointed at that. I think that was my last attempt at the crack down the middle.
I did one the other day myself, and for the sake of people that haven't watched the video, I still have the remnants sitting next to me, so I grabbed them. But what he's talking about is just going at the very top here over the flip, and it just comes completely apart.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
So, like, you can see like where I notched it in the very middle where it met up originally, and just comes completely apart. Usually the bottom for me is like slightly connected, and you just kind of pull it apart, and it just comes completely apart.
Nice.
And the good part about those too is they have the inner sleeve, so you don't have to worry so much about when you're pulling it apart, maybe dinging the corner or something like that. You got that inner sleeve, so it's highly doubtful you'd bend it.
Yeah,
unless you
I know
did
this isn't about busting into slabs, but we're going there. There are other slabs, like I think I don't remember HGA or whatever some of the other ones are that have the same type of plastic that, like on a cheap card, I've tried the center cut and they will, but I would never do it without that inner sleeve because you are, like Adam showed, pulling the sharp plastic across the front of the card. So I would never ever do it with anything but a BGS. But because, I mean, people that haven't opened up a BGS, it's not a penny sleeve in there. It's a pretty thick, fully sealed inner sleeve there. The card's well protected, so it definitely helps out.
Nice. I also have a card. I kind of teased it on Instagram in my story. I have a pickup. It's a big one for me. I think I was going to wait because I feel like it goes well with something we'll talk about later. Should I show it or kind of save it? I don't know if I'm being.
We want the card, Joey. We want the card.
Yeah,
okay.
Now you built up anticipation.
I know.
I gotta see it.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. So this card, and the reason I said that it might fit into what we're talking about later. I haven't opened it yet. I still have it in here. I just opened the package. Nice.
Show the card.
Yeah, I'm going to show the card. The reason that I was thinking, I could save it is because I thought if we're going to talk about selling today, we could talk about, your preferences between selling and trading. So I traded for this card mostly. I mean, I added like $50, but I traded for this card mostly. And it's one of my favorite cards, probably. I hope so. We'll see. And then, but it's also probably one of the bigger cards for one of my PCs. So it is a gold Tyrese Halliburton dual patch flawless rookie.
Nice.
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah. And so that, like, for me, it's huge. Some background. I was in love with Halliburton when he was a rookie, and obviously it's not feasible to try to go after all of a rookie's cards anymore or whatever. And so my goal became, I'm going to get one card that I like from each release. And so for flawless, you have to go with a memorabilia card, right? And it's the only rookie release that has game worn memorabilia cards. And for me, I don't love his autograph. It's his initials, TYH or whatever, Ty and then H. I don't love his initials, and the autographs are thousands, like his game used patch autos from Flawless. So I said, I'm just going to stick to a patch. And so I saw this one become available on Instagram. I had like 2 Luka rookies. One was a base card. One was like a parallel from Select out of $2.99. I was like, if I could trade a base card and a high numbered parallel, yeah, it's Luka, whatever. For obviously something that's really unique and important for my collection. So this has now satisfied the flawless gap in my collection. So now I have a flawless Halliburton card. And I'm getting pretty close to now having one of all of his. And for me, I counted it. He has a total of, including tags, including logo men, he has 54 game worn rookie cards. So from his rookie year, and it's cool to have a gold out of 10. Yeah, so I'm very
awesome,
happy with
man.
that card.
Congrats.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I think game worn rookie year stuff is very underappreciated just because it doesn't happen. You know, you don't get that in football, you don't get that in baseball, and you only get it in flawless basketball. So I think it's just like, as far as like the masses sort of look past it a little bit. That's an awesome pickup, Joey. Well done. And to trade for it is like cherry on top. Chef's kiss for that one. Yeah,
no, for sure. And we can get more into that later, or we can just talk about it now. But I agree. I don't think I would have gotten it if it wasn't trading for it. So definitely makes a difference. Just a quick roll call, I guess, before we get into things. So across YouTube and Instagram, who we've seen around. So Carter, IndyCar Cards, Gary, thank you guys all for hanging out. Darren, thanks for hanging out. Lots of people trying to crack slabs. Dan, Lawson Collector, NYC Hoops, thanks for hanging out and chatting, commenting. Again, if anyone wants to jump on the stream, feel free to scan the QR code. I'll keep it up for a little bit longer, and I'll repaste the link in the chat real quick, and then we'll go from there. It's, you know, we spent a lot of time kind of before we got into the topic, so hopefully that's okay. But I don't know if there's necessarily time, but real quick, I wanted to piggyback off what we were talking about last week, because last week we were talking about the role of selling in our collection. We had brought up, and I think Steve, you had mentioned, like, nobody here is selling cards to fund their hobby, right? Or like whatever. They're not flipping cards to fund your PC or whatever. But I just wanted to like bring that up one more time, because I feel like people that seem to me to be like really into the collecting part of it, they're not flippers, they're not investors, they're not trying to like do this as a business. I even heard somebody, I forget where, if it was Instagram, YouTube, say that it was irresponsible to have a family and spend your personal money or your family money or your income or whatever on cards. And so they go to shows, flip cards, whatever, to try to fund their hobby. And so I don't know where I wanted to go with that. I just feel like it's worth talking about. I mean, I see the appeal of it. Like, I think that it takes up time. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands, like, it takes up part of your hobby budget in terms of time, in terms of money. It sets good boundaries for you. I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there because I see the appeal of it. I would love I'd love to send all my money to retirement accounts and college funds. But I just don't know about this whole like paying for all my cards using money that I make from buying and selling cards.
Yeah. I don't think anything's wrong with that, but the idea that any other way of doing things is incorrect or wrong, I think, is where the
irresponsible
where the terminology was. That's where I think the disconnect is for me. Like, do what you will, but I could say the same thing, that you'd be better suited spending the money you've earned if you have excess of it than you would be wasting your Saturday or Sunday without your family at a card show. You know what I mean? You're giving up one thing one way or the other. So, I mean, if you enjoy the hobby and you have the means to provide for your family and do the things you should do for the future and still have money left over to buy a card, it's not irresponsible of you to do so. It's your hobby and your interest, and obviously collect responsibly. Don't put yourself in a bind or lose your house over buying cards, not be able to put your kids food on their table, things like that. But the idea of irresponsible for just spending any form of traditional income on cards, I think, is just a wild statement, personally.
Joey, if you can throw Gary's comment up on the screen for people to see, I think he hits it home real well.
I wanted to mention that.
You know, Gary talks about, you know, spending money that you don't plan to get, you don't plan to get the money back. And I think the dream, like, I guess I value time. I think time's the most important thing in the world. And one of the reasons I work in education is because it allows me to have more time with my family, and I have the same schedule as my kids, whatever. Right. So,
and by default, that means you don't value money. So,
right. So I do like setting up at shows once or twice a year. I wouldn't want to be in that circuit, and I see what it takes to I mean, the dream, but financially, the dream would be to have a collection that pays for itself, right? So, like, you get sick of a few cards, you sell them, you make $500. Now you buy $500 worth of cards. Then somehow magically, those cards either stay the same value or appreciate, right? So, the chance of all that happening is very slim. And I just, I mean, it doesn't, like, I personally, like, I do sell, and I sell stuff not to make money, but more to clear it out of my inventory, because we've talked about, like, my organizations, I keep my collection a certain size, right? But that person says it's irresponsible. Like, that would be like me telling my wife that instead of going to Supercuts, she goes to the hairstylist and gets a $250 haircut instead of a $25 haircut. Like, if we have the expendable income and we know what our balances are and we know what we're doing, there's stuff that you're going to spend money on that is going to be for your own well-being, that is just part of the American dream. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to do so. And
And I'll just read out Gary's comment in case anyone's listening and not watching. He said he's heard that opinion from non-collectors. He's always looked at his collection as money he doesn't plan on getting back, and it'd be significantly less fun if he was worried about making money. And I've always made the argument that it's like any hobby that's not collectibles. I love to ski, and if I go on a ski trip and pay to fly to a destination, pay to spend some time at a ski resort, pay for lift tickets, pay for meals, that's thousands of dollars that I'm never getting back. It's a sunk cost, right? That's the cost of the hobby. And so that it goes the same way. It's, if, like you all said, if it's responsible and I can afford to do that sort of thing, whether it's skiing or cards, I don't see it as very different. And KC 37 says that it's pretty judgy to say it's irresponsible. But Carter mentioned that his collecting is 99% self-funded, and he enjoys the challenge of it. And I kind of see that too. Like, I think it's cool to put some guardrails on it, in a sense that, hey, I can kind of like reward myself for paying by buying stuff with funds that I've generated. I guess the question, because you guys mentioned the time, I asked my wife one time, do you want me to try to focus and spend more time trying to generate funds to buy cards? Or would you prefer that I, like you guys mentioned, have time with the family? Like, on a Saturday, I'm not going and spending a whole day at a show looking for deals, but I'm with my kids and stuff like that. And she instantly said, no, I want you to be with us. And as long as we can afford it and you're not being irresponsible, it's fine. I guess my question, Carter, to you, if you can throw into the chat, is, so what does that look like, that your collecting is 99% self-funded? Like, where are you where are you getting these cards that you're able to, or whatever, how are you generating those funds, I guess is my question. How are those funds getting generated?
It'd be interesting to hear. I was going to throw in just something real quick, is I've always bought because I wanted the card, but sometimes those cards increase in value. So I think I talked about it last time, where I was just buying like Star Rubies and PMG type cards back in the mid 2010s, and into the COVID a little bit too, just because I like the cards, and then suddenly they jump up in value. So I think it's also important to see an opportunity, and that, okay, well, I've got these Star Rubies cards and they're pretty cool, but do I care about a PJ Brown or something like that I could get $500 for? I'd rather have the $500 than I can dump it back into my Nuggets PC. So even if you're specifically looking at buying cards for your PC only, and that's kind of the way you collect, because I never collect with like the mindset of I might flip that card and I might get more value out of this card or that card. I've never really done it. I don't see anything wrong with that. But I've just never done it myself. But if sometimes the opportunity presents itself to sell something that's sitting in a 2-row box in the back of your closet and making some money, and then put it in other cards, or I don't know, I've taken money out of the hobby on stuff like that too. And I think I mentioned that last time. So there's no one wrong way to do it, but less judgmental, the better, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you guys are talking about the time and everything. I think, I think we should have a quick conversation about like how we sell and what methods we use, because I'm thinking, like, when you brought up, I think it was you, Joe, that brought up the time, and then you went into detail with time with your family. So sitting on the bookshelves behind me there, not cards I sold, so I'm not being unethical, but I've got 3 small stacks of cards that I need to mail out. 2 of them are cards that I'm gifting to somebody. They're like small hits, whatever. And the stack of Justin's cards that I cracked out of the slabs. just having to put the time into packaging all of them up, make sure they're secure, write the addresses. I'm dreading it. Like I'll do it tomorrow afternoon, but like that, going down to the basement, getting my supplies, bringing them up, organizing them. I hate that. Now I don't mind bringing row boxes down and pricing my cards. So when I used to set up shows on a regular basis, or the time I went to the National, I don't mind flipping through while I'm watching a Celtics game and pricing my stuff, but taking the time to make sure I'm in a clean space and like package up cards, mail them out, get them off to the post office. That part of it like drives me nuts. So that limits the amount of stuff that I want to sell, because the easiest way I've found to sell is either go to a show, but then you have to hope the customers come to you, or use an Instagram story, which is great. I can usually post a few things. My approach is if I'm going to put some stuff aside for ComC before they go in the ComC box, I'll throw them up on Instagram. But that means then I have to package up 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 packages within a day or two, get them off to the post office. And that just, as Peter Griffin says, that grinds my gears. Like I just, that part of selling, and I don't get stressed, but like I probably do a little bit too much to make sure I'm organized and make sure the cards get out to the right people. Cause it's not like I have, $1,000 sitting aside to burn, that if I mistakenly sent the wrong card to someone, that I could then say, oh, here's your $100 or $200 back, and not feel it in my pocket. Right. So I do put some time into it and everything. So Mark, it sounds like we need to be in business together, because Mark posted here that he's the opposite. He hates pricing cards, but enjoys packaging them up. So I will happily do the pricing for you. You can be the shipping department, because I don't know what it is. I mean, it just drives me nuts, and I find it very time consuming to like take care of that part of it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned before, I hate it all. I hate listing cards, pricing them, taking pictures of them to put up. I hate negotiating with people. I hate shipping and printing labels. I hate packaging. Oh God, it's all, yeah, I agree. I'm on board with that.
You sound like you're as much fun at parties as the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all horrible.
Everything about this hobby.
At card selling parties for sure. Speaking of which, let's make this a party. Carter's here. I imagine, I don't know if you heard my call to you to tell us your magical ways, as Mark mentioned. How do you do this? How do you pay for all your cards with money you make from cards or whatever?
So yeah, I didn't feel like typing anything out. So I figured I'd download my thoughts while I'm still interesting. But it's, yeah, when I got into the hobby, I got a little too excited, like that happens with everybody. And it got to a point where I had to ask myself like what I'm going to do with all of this. And I was starting to make connections with other collectors, which kind of felt really grounding instead of just, something I was doing through the mail. Like back during COVID, I was, I had only been in it for like a year or so. And so I was just kind of doing my thing by myself, while everybody was stuck in their houses. And it was really post-COVID when I started to make some good connections and felt like, okay, I want to stay in this long term. But I started to kind of get some eyebrows from my wife. She was like, how much are you spending? What are we, and I realized like, okay, if I'm going to do this well, I'm going to have to really talk with her, and like, we'll have to figure something out. And I had some success at that point selling some cards. And so I thought, let me try to supplement this as best as possible, and just, sell what I have that I'm realizing I don't want as I become a better and better collector. And, meanwhile, I was at my show a lot, my local show, and really enjoyed it, and found that I liked buying cards at a show. Like it was really fun for me. And I found that I didn't like to go to a show and not buy cards, but at the same time, I didn't want to collect everything that was there. And so it was like, well, let me just see if I can find things that are cool, and if I don't want it, then, I can resell it down the line, even if it's at cost, just to get something out the door, get something else in there. And that worked for a little while. And as I got kind of better and better at it, I really did start to think, if I could try making this self-sufficient, maybe there's a way for me to like really kind of take off with it, and make it its own thing, where I don't have to, keep getting keep having to come back to my family and be like, hey, here's what we're doing. And so I got there eventually where I was able to find enough cards through what I was doing, and also really had to start thinking about like what is a way to flip cards that matches the values that I have in collecting, that my community of collectors has. Like, am I doing it in a way that is appreciated by the people that I'm around, and is there a way to like be a good flipper? And I've got a lot of thoughts about that. I think that obviously all of us, we buy cards, which means all of us need to appreciate at some level someone who sells a card, right? But that kind of led me to dig into where am I buying cards from, what kind of cards am I buying, and who am I trying to connect with to find these at home. And so that kind of led to the point where I'm at now, where I'm really searching after not cards that are where I can get the most value out of them, but cards that I think are the most collectible. And where am I getting them from that I can bring them to a place where somebody who wants to collect those cards will appreciate them. And so, going back to my local show, kind of tie it all in, like I go there all the time with cards that I've sourced, whether it's Memphis Grizzlies stuff, Memphis Tiger stuff. I even, WNBA stuff, as I've gotten into that, I've realized that there's not a lot of that there, and collectors like to have, some options for that. And so if I can bring cards in that collectors want to find, and a lot of those collectors, they don't really buy very actively online. They don't have saved searches on eBay, all these things. They really just kind of come to the local show and they want to find something there that's good for their collection. So I'm like, if I can find something that is, undervalued in Dallas, Texas, when I go there, because it's 2006 Grizzly stuff and they were awful back then, and I can come and sell it to somebody for enough to sustain my collection a little bit, and they get something that they're happy with. I just feel like that's a good deal for everybody, and it kind of keeps the hobby moving. It boosts my hobby community because people want to come back to the show because they're like, hey, I know I can at least get something from Carter that will help my collection. So I do all that, and it helps me buy what I want and enjoy this. And even if it limits the number of cards I can buy, because I'm not making that much off of hobby stuff, I'm not making that much off of cards. If it limits what I can buy, then I can fill out the rest of that time, like you said, Joey, with the buying and selling part to kind of balance it out. So
nice. So is most of that then, are you getting your cards from shows too, or are you like, where are you finding these cards that you feel are good deals that you can maybe sell at a show for a little bit more to fund PC cards?
It can be a shows a lot, but like ComC is a platform that I would say, if I sell cards on Instagram or something, several folks on there, they look at ComC, but a lot of them don't. And if it stays on ComC forever, like they'll never see it. But then certainly at my local show, like I tell people about ComC all the time. They're like, what? I'm like, you should get into it so you can stop buying cards from me. But yeah, but then it'll also even be just like in the WNBA off season, nobody pays attention to the WNBA cards, so somebody's got to buy them. I figure it might as well be me while they're super cheap. And then during the season, people are like, where are all those collectibles? It's like, I rescued them. Like, thank you. So just things like that, just kind of finding rhythms where like I'm able to have some activity and buy things that I think are cool, and then down the road I can use them to acquire things that really fit my collection a lot more sharply.
I like that, man. Because to be honest, probably on this show we've given a bad name to flippers, but all of us have bought from people that sell. We've sold ourselves, and a lot of the cards that I have right now, I wouldn't have if people hadn't bought them, sold them maybe for a little bit of profit. I think, there's this stigma or whatever about people that buy the card, hold it hostage, and then try to sell it for the highest price to the person that wants it the most. And, Carter, I'd say you're probably not doing that at all. And And to me, it's a needed function. So it's maybe gotten a little bit out of control in recent years. But even back in like the blowout days when, I mean, literally, because I'm in Denver, we had a decent card show once every 2 years or something. I wasn't going to many shows, so I'd use Blowout, and I knew the guys that were flipping cards, but they weren't out there asking exorbitant prices and trying to make, you know, an extra couple thousand on the purchases. They just bought them probably a show they went to, just like you're doing. So definitely commendable, and thanks for the explanation there. That was really good.
And as a hobby, we need people out there doing that stuff too, right? Like it doesn't help anybody to have, like my local show we call the Dedham Show. It doesn't help anybody to have some really nice Memphis Grizzly cards sitting in Dedham, Massachusetts for 6 months on end at the monthly show. If people are out there getting them for the right price and then getting them online, like we want these cards transacting so they can end up with the end user, right? If somebody has it at a show, they're not the end user of that item. Carter, one thing I do want to give you credit for, and I don't want to keep you longer than you need to, but I really appreciate your story sales, because when you do go to Instagram, your stories, you don't just usually post 2 cards at a time. Like you've got sort of a theme you'll go through. And I imagine as a seller, you have stuff where people see the one card they want, but you've got enough up there that they're maybe like, oh, if I'm already paying for shipping, I'll grab 2 or 3 cards and kind of bundle them up. Other than Instagram, and you mentioned your local shows, where else are you finding success selling your cards these days? Because it's an ever-changing marketplace for sure.
Yeah, it's getting tougher. I'm really having to reassess it and pay a lot more attention to the kind of cards I'm buying, and say, like, can I find the people who want these cards? Because if not, it's not worth it, you know, to me or to anybody who's, you know, seeing my story sales or, you know, seeing me at a show or whatever. But I'll sell some at a show. And then, you know, with WNBA cards, I found a ton of success selling on Facebook. Been a part of a really great Facebook group for like half a decade now. That's traditionally was full of collectors, and ever since Caitlin Clark, it has become the same kind of cesspool that most of the Facebook groups are, and that's been unfortunate. And that's something that I've commiserated with a lot of WNBA collectors about. So I don't sell as much on there anymore, but I think I really try to just avoid like eBay and, you know, places where I'm going to run into a lot more non-collectors than collectors when it comes to buying. Sometimes, even if you have the right stuff, like you can just kind of attract like a weird crowd that you don't want to put in the effort to deal with. But, you know, ultimately just, I want to sell in places where I can also make a connection. Like I don't want to sell in a place where I don't have a chance to make a friend, because I've made friends from selling, like that I first sold a car to, and then, you know, kind of grew a relationship from there. And so you just try to be, you know, the kind of seller that I would want to buy from, and be fair with people. And, you know, ultimately, like, I benefit from flippers too. I've got people who go out and look for Mike Conley cards, and they bring them back to me at the Memphis show, and I know they're making a little bit of money off of it. Guess what? I'm happy to give it to them because they found a card for me that I, you know, wouldn't have otherwise. So, yeah, I do think at the end of the day, it's all about just finding connection in a different way. Because at the end of the day, if you're just using it as a means towards an end of having a bigger stack of cardboard, like, or of cash, if that's what you're into, I think you're going to get to a weird place.
I wanted to ask, you mentioned like you've made friends selling and stuff, and I feel like I'm actually the opposite. My favorite places to sell are eBay and ComC, because I don't have a following to sell. People don't look for what I'm selling. People don't care about the cards that I'm trying to sell. So you go to eBay, you cast a wide net. You go to ComC. That one's nice because you just throw them in, and then all you have to do is price. And if you change price, you know, if like price changes, you change your price, you sell it, you don't have to ship it to any individuals, whatever. But did you how did you kind of build up that relationship with people on Instagram, Facebook? Because when I've tried to sell there, I've found very little success for the most part. And I feel like most of who I run into there are people who are trying to get the card from me so that they could resell it, which means they don't want it for whatever I'm offering, you know? So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I sell to people sometimes who I know are like trying to resell cards, but I don't take too much offense to that either, because I'm like, man, if I'm selling cards at a price that somebody else wants to buy them to resell them, then I know I'm keeping myself in check. Like I'm not, you can't always sell to the end collector, um, but you know, that may or may not be the person that I end up making the most connection with. It may be the person that I know I'm selling to the end collector. I know that they collect whatever card I'm selling them, and that can start a conversation, right? If I know from your Instagram profile, or I know from talking to you at a show, like that conversation strikes up about why you want the card and how it fits in your collection. Like, I think that's just a really easy, like streamlined way to build a connection with somebody, as much as any other way of making connections in the hobby.
To piggyback on the sentiment there, I definitely think that's a big part of it, is the way you go about it is being honest and forthcoming and not trying to get over on somebody, because there's nothing wrong with profit. There's nothing dirty about it. It's just, you see some people who are seeing a deal for a car that's worth 1,000 and they see it priced for 100 and then try to offer 50 and then post it for 2,000 and do these little acrobats throughout the transaction that kind of make them less savory, whereas you're just buying something for a fair price and selling it for a fair price and making a little in between, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I mean, we may kind of talk bad about flippers at times, but there's nothing wrong with flipping. It's the people who give flipping a bad name that we are kind of pointing the finger at. And obviously we got to shout out the show too. Was it Mid-South Show? Is that right? Mid-South Card Show?
Yeah, Mid-South Card Show. Yeah, I know you came at least one time and set up, didn't you?
Yeah, I went once. It's Bartlett, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually this Saturday is the.
All right, well, there we go. We're gonna get probably one person that watches this that's within driving distance, hasn't heard of it, but it's worth throwing out there. The social media manager is much better than the promoter, is all I'm gonna say.
No, the promoter is the best person to ever walk the earth. He's a great guy.
Oh wow, brown noser. Okay.
Carter, Jake was asking if you ever gone to this shop, I think, TN Cards and Collectibles on Winchester. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I've met the owner. I've never actually gone there. He used to set up at the Mid-South Card Show. The guy who eventually opened or the guy who once owned that shop, I guess. I don't remember if it's still around, but no, I never went to that one. Most of I hope it was better than the other shops that exist in Memphis. Most of them are pretty terrible. Nash Cards is pretty good. There's a Nash Cards location here that Wade, the guy who runs it's pretty great.
Just to throw out there while we talk about that, one of if not the worst shops I've ever been to was in Memphis. It was in the middle of like an office building. I can't remember the name of it.
Triple Crown. I know without. If it's the worst shop you've ever been to, I guarantee you it was Triple Crown.
Yeah, it was Triple. It's 100% that one. And Jonathan took me there, and they had some cool stuff. But the guy that owned it was miserable.
Yeah, he's really like just makes you sad. Yeah, just talking to him. I don't know why Jonathan would even have taken you there. Like, I would refuse if a collector friend came into town to visit me and was like, take me to a card shop, and Nash Cards was closed. I'd be like, we don't have any card shops. I would not take you there.
He at least took me to Nash Cards as well. But yeah, we went in there and they had some cool stuff. The guy there was just, I mean, he had to have hated his life. Like he cannot be pleasurable in any instance outside the shop, inside the shop. I see Darren's in the comments saying he loves Triple Crown.
Darren loves Triple Crown. Why? I don't know why.
I mean,
I think he got one card there for like a decent price and was like, yep, this place is great. I'm like, okay.
They had a Ronnie Brewer number to 5 card he's been looking for 30 years, so he's just happy. That's all it is.
Exactly. Yeah, y'all get him on here and grill him about just his whole rationale for which card shows and card shops he goes to and why he never tells his friends that he's going there. He just shows up.
That is true. He'll go to like the Nashville show, drive however many hours, pop in, say hi to me or a few other people, buy a $10 card, then drive straight back home. It's like 6 hours away or something.
Yeah,
he's a bad
I'm
man.
like, dude, just text me. Just text me. It's so easy.
I know we had just talked about Jake's question. Jake also seems like he is aligned, Carter, to what you were saying about collectible stuff, because it sounds like he's been picking up some Topps Chrome refractors from the 2000s and maybe the 90s after he heard the license was coming back. Shout out to Abra. He's hanging out with us, spewing his brand of stuff over there.
I like it.
And also shout out, thanks Sean for shouting that out to the Kings 3-game win streak, baby. So come to me for all your Kings needs. We want to talk about, one of the things that we wanted to mention was the pros and cons of the different platforms. Is there anything, because we talked about Facebook, Instagram shows, eBay, ComC a little bit. Is there anything about the platforms to sell on that is useful or important to know or to put out there?
I'd say for what I would say, well, Carter thinks is because you mentioned ComC, Joe, and I use ComC a lot. I think ComC is very user-friendly and easy to navigate once you know this system. And once you know how to price your cards and what your levels and the payouts are, because you have to buy into store credit up front and the payouts are at different levels and et cetera, et cetera. I think ComC, there's a lot of learning that goes in. You have to be willing to kind of make some mistakes and maybe lose some dollars up front. I love flipping on ComC. Like if I see something, it's very easy to see a card priced at $5, use store credit, so I'm not putting any cash in, and reprice it at $12 and take the first $9 offer that gets sent in. So like Carter said, it's tougher to find the cool stuff these days, just like it is at shows. But the one red flag I'd put about ComC, and I know they were all over I don't want to talk ComC in depth and all the rumors and everything, but as far as like if you want to sell on there, it definitely takes some time to learn. Make sure you factor in that you are shipping 100 cards at a time, so the shipment's going to have some money behind it. There's listing fees, there's payout fees, there's different things to it. So definitely a bit of learning that goes into navigating how to sell and buy on ComC effectively. If you want to make a profit, if you just want to dump cards and you don't want to deal with them, send them all your stuff, and if you don't care, you just sell them. But if you're trying to kind of keep the money moving,
and that's what I love about it, is it's kind of like trading without having to find a trade partner, because you throw the cards that you don't want there, you sell them, and you use that store credit to buy the cards you want for your PC. So that's what's nice about it. And once you have your first set of cards on there, you never have to put in any money. You have to pay for the accepting of your initial shipment. But then, like you said, Steve, you never have to put in any money after that. It all just comes from the store credit you make from your sales. The one other thing that I don't love about ComC anymore is that now that they've changed their shipping rates, it's essentially 50 cents of shipping for every single card you buy now. Yep. So it's like totally killed low end for me. Like I used to buy all my base cards off ComC, and I don't anymore at all, because base cards are like inserts that were super cheap for the PC. I don't anymore at all. So I try to only keep it to stuff that's like at least $5 on there if I'm trying to buy it for my PC.
The only form of ComC selling I've ever done is what Steve kind of suggested, in the sense of buying for 5, selling for 10 kind of thing. I've done that a few times, but I've never actually sent in cards for them. The one thing I was going to throw out, selling on eBay, which I don't do a ton of, but a few cards here and there. One thing I do like is if you do sell a card that's $200 or so or more, it does go to the authentication program, which I hate as a buyer because it's such a pain in the butt. But as a seller, it gives you kind of a passage of avoiding a lot of the BS that buyers can do. Once they authenticate it, they give you the money, and it's basically on them to facilitate getting the card to the end user. So that's kind of nice. And then also you can just use the app and use QR codes and walk into the post office, scan on the self-service kiosk, scan the UPC, it prints a label, and you're done. You don't have to do anything too special or have to go through too many hoops versus other forms that I've used. I don't know. There's probably things similar to that in other aspects or other platforms, but it's pretty convenient, pretty easy. And you can just pick whatever you're using, whether it's a mailer or flat rate box or whatever, and just have it all basically pre-done on the app. It comes out of your funds when you sell the card. So it's all kind of streamlined. And I do think it's still, even 25, 30 years later, it still kind of finds the widest audience out of everything in the hobby compared to anybody else.
Guys, I ran to eBay so fast a couple weeks ago. I bought a WNBA Donruss Mega, and I pulled some Caitlin Clark unaffiliated single colored jersey relic thing out of it that I was like, whatever, it's got to be a $5 card, I'll throw it in my binder. Thing's selling for like $70 online. I couldn't get that thing up on eBay fast enough. I posted it for $50, sold it in less than an hour. And that's where I love eBay, because it's just such a wide net. And and I'm willing to take the fees and all that other stuff to get out from under a card like that. So I don't sell on eBay much, but the few times I have, I agree with you, Adam. It's a very clean selling experience, and as long as you can get the protection of the authentication, it does help a lot. So there's a place for eBay still, and I probably only sell like one card a year on eBay, but there's a time and place for it for sure.
For me, there's definitely a like throw something on a story card, sell it a card show card, put it on eBay. Like there's different times for every platform where they kind of pique the interest. Because I mean, I don't know about you, I've never set up with WNBA cards, but if I put a $70 Caitlin Clark card out, in my mind, I'm probably never going to sell it for $60 or $50 at a show. At least the ones I go to generally, I don't see people asking for them, and maybe because I don't have them, build it and they will come kind of thing. But on eBay, you get everybody. So like, there's cards that I've had in showcases at shows or put on my story and nobody wants, and I put them on eBay and get more money within 2 hours. It's like, well, that was so easy. I should have done this from the beginning. So there's just over time you kind of learn like I'm never going to sell this to somebody I meet in Northern Kentucky or Indianapolis or Nashville, but I could probably sell it to somebody in Canada or California or wherever else you might find on eBay.
Yeah, and that sounds amazing to sell on eBay. Like I would love to do the authentication stuff and like make it a streamlined process where I don't have that liability. The only issue is I never really have cards to sell that are like worth enough to authenticate. So like, I usually end up would be selling like a $25 card and they're taking, $8 in fees and shipping and everything. And, by the time I'm done with it, it's like, that's less than what I bought it for.
The fees definitely kill you on the lower priced items more so than the higher. That kind of stuff I think is where like in my mind I filter out the probably not story sale for me, but probably not eBay for me, just because shipping is such a high percentage of the value of the item at that point. If you're sending something for $20, shipping anymore is like $6, it seems like. By the time you're done to 14, whereas you could put it at a show and sell it for 20 or whatever, 15, and it's the same transaction, smoother. I'm sure that's what you do as well, more often than not.
Yeah.
I will say with pricing stuff, and I know we're going kind of long here, but with pricing stuff, I also price very differently. So I will, like, I have a certain level of price on ComC app because I'm not putting the same level of work. And there's also like an upcharge when they post to eBay for me. So I want to be competitive on their eBay site. If I'm posting on Instagram and I'm selling direct, I'm going to post a little so that if someone that does want to flip it sees it and they want to get it and bring it to a show and they're going to put the work into it, that there's a little bit of meat on the bone for them. On eBay, I'm going to pretty much price it at full quote unquote market value, and I'll see what offers come in. But depending on where I'm selling, I definitely price different based on what I think the audience is and how much work I have to put into selling it, plus the fees and all that other stuff. So I think you got to consider pricing when you're thinking about the different avenues of where you're posting it.
Yeah, it's a great point, Steve. Because when I saw on Instagram a story sale, I'm like, okay, let me look at the comp and we go below the comp, because then you're going to move it. And it works pretty well. I've got a lot of people like, wow, you're like below comps, and they're probably trying to flip, but it's like, I'll move it pretty quick. So,
Exactly. Yeah. Or I'll just cover the $8 shipping or $5 to $8 shipping fee. Like if I post something for $50, that's going to be shipped to your door for $50. It's not going to be plus cover fees, and it's just going to be, here's what it is. So if it's sold on eBay for $50 and I'm going to post it for $50, but you're saving shipping and taxes and all that stuff, I do think there's a balancing act there. And I'd probably accept a $45 off from that $50 card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's different ways you got to navigate the different, and it just takes experience. Like we've all, we've done it. We've got burnt on cards. We've had cards that we haven't been able to sell for 2 years that are probably still sitting in our closets right now that we thought would be easy flips. So it's a learning process always.
And that's a good point, Steve, because I feel like
Thanks,
Instagram
Ryan.
is like hey, I give out compliments where I can. Instagram is like an instant, I want to make that purchase. It's like a quick instant, just like, let me grab that card real quick because it's a good price. eBay is more maybe methodical because you're looking at it, you're going to checking comps, you're going to have to pay probably at comps or near them. So again, it's a great mentality. I don't do Facebook. I don't think I've been on Facebook in a couple of years because I forgot my login and I don't really feel like figuring it out. But I think there's definitely different strategies for each platform. But that's a great one for Instagram. Price it a little bit lower and you're going to move it pretty quick.
I think the one thing about Instagram that I find difficult is you just have to have people that look at your stuff. I feel like Instagram's where I've had the most trouble, because whether you're eBay, ComC, Reddit, I've sold cards on sold cards on Reddit, Facebook, you put it up, everybody's going to see it. It shows up on everybody's, Reddit thread, everybody's Facebook group, everybody's eBay or whatever. So for me, that's the place I've actually had the most trouble, is on Instagram.
Okay, but you said Reddit. Hold on. You
Yeah.
sell on Reddit?
I've sold once or twice on Reddit. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Wild. Wild is what it
Love
is.
Reddit. I've never bought or sold anything on there card wise.
Oh, well, there's a basketball card subreddit, and then there's a buy sell trade thread. Yeah, there's a buy sell trade thread. I think I just put up like a bunch of cards that I had once I got my lot in over the summer. I just put in a bunch of cards, including other cards I'd already had. Some guy found a few that he liked, and we just worked out a deal. I was a little concerned because he had the protection from PayPal. I was a little concerned in doing it because I'm like, oh, I don't really have any protection. And actually, it's funny. I reached out to him when it said that the cards were delivered. He said he's not home currently and he would let me know. And he never reached back out, but it was a couple months ago now. So hopefully he never comes back and says, hey man, I never got my cards, or why'd you give me these damaged cards or whatever.
Maybe he hasn't made it home yet.
Real quick, because there was a conversation in the chat between Casey and Mark about ComC auctions on eBay. Casey's trying them out, 40 cards, and it's a different platform, and it's the same platform, but it's a different method of selling. Not familiar with ComC auctions. Mark said that the ComC auctions always are not very good. Are any of you familiar with ComC auctions? I know there's like $1 fee, right? Anytime you send,
they go to eBay, don't they?
Yeah, they waive the fees.
eBay,
you can always get promotions. The downside to the ComC auctions, and I've done them. I haven't done them much since like the boom of 2020 through 2022, when like you could, again, the selling graded base cards for $200 was just happening left and right. The downside to it is I do think you get a little more exposure. They do advertise their auctions. It goes to eBay. The downside is you don't get control over when and how it posts. So you kind of just mark it as going to the auction. And then they, depending on what level, so if you sent in a cheap card and you just got it scanned in at their cheapest level, they're going to force you to rescan it at their like higher HD elite level or whatever. So that's where that $1 fee comes in if you sent it in at the 50-cent level. But then it might post as ending on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. or it might post as ending on a Sunday at 8 p.m. Like you don't have as much control over when and how it posts. It just sort of goes in the queue and gets uploaded. So you're definitely giving up some control over the auction. And I don't think I love paying for eBay auctions with ComC credit. Like I'll absolutely, like, especially for, it doesn't matter. Like it's just not cash out of my pocket. I don't think as many people as we would assume are even aware of that option, or even, have built up enough ComC credits. I don't know that if I were to send something through to auction at this point, I would use a different consignment company other than ComC. But stuff that I just want to sell as a bin, and I just want to be able, and I have $100 cards in my ComC inventory. I'm not afraid, and I've had slightly higher end stuff in there for sure. I've had up to $500-$600 cards in my ComC, inventory that have sold easily. But the auction is not. I haven't submitted a card for auction in, I don't know, probably 2 years. And even then it was like a couple Marvel cards that I got through ePack that I just wanted to unload and I never had like physically in hand. So it's not my favorite way to sell on ComC.
What I've done is I've taken cards that I like don't want anymore and don't feel like I could sell to anyone that is in my like spheres, and I'll just throw them on ComC when I need to reload my like credits quickly. I'll throw on the ComC auctions. Just be like, whatever I get for them, because there's cards I want to buy for my collection on ComC, and I need some funds, and it's just a way to do it.
The one thing that I would mention, since we're talking about ComC, is their promos are usually really good. Like in the spring, they had a graded card promo, and I added 35 graded cards, and totally free to add to the site. Like that was awesome. So I just pay the 5% fee when it sells. That's their fee compared to eBay's like 15%. So yeah, so that was really nice. There's some talk about buying cards on Amazon in the chat. I don't know if we should probably like call this right now. I don't know if we've ever talked for this long. I wanted to talk about different consignment options because I want to personally do a consignment shipment. I haven't been able to think of like what the best consigner is. I don't think now's the time to do it, but I don't know. Are you all thinking we should call it a night?
Yeah, I gotta get up in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
I could hop off regardless, and you guys could choose to talk about consignments or not, because I'm not the expert there. But whatever you guys decide to do with your time, I'll let you wrap it up as you wish.
See you, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, Carter. Good to see you, buddy.
It was fun talking to you.
See ya.
All right, everyone. I think that's probably going to do it for us. We can talk consignment. We can talk trading. We can talk whatever. We might have to talk at another time. So hope everyone had fun talking about a little bit more about selling and the different options and places to sell. Really fun having Carter on. Thanks for hanging out, Carter. I think the hobby boards have been a little bit more active this week, so that's been fun. Anyone have anything to throw out there before we call it a night?
Celtics won.
Celtics did win.
Yeah, nice.
In spite of Joe Mazzulla. I forgot all about the hobby boards again. I'll look at it this week to not be absent.
Yeah, we just got to call it out on the show. Get people over there.
Yeah, there we go.
The seven.
Abra keeps it alive. I will say.
So. Oh yes, one more thing.
You're listening in, Abra. Thank you.
Yeah, and I wanted to say thank you to Abra. He sent me these to put some cards in. So thanks, Abra. Nice. They came yesterday. Appreciate these. Ryan, he's been trying to contact you to see if you want some. So maybe you should.
Oh yeah, I will get back with you if you responded. I am bad at it.
Oh, thanks, Orlando. Thanks for trying to peek in when you could. All right, everybody. Have a great week. We will see you next week. And don't forget to keep hanging, collecting. See you on the hobby boards. See you next week.